Across the country, 100,000 students collectively sat for the grade 10 and 12 examinations in 2016. 56% of 38,000 grade 10 learners will pass on to grade 11 this year. Every year, this figure improves slightly from the last. However, the overall minimum pass mark lies at an undesirable 23 points. Of just 21,000 learners who sat for the grade 12 ordinary level exams, only 7,000, that's about 30%, are eligible for a tertiary education. In 2019, government plans to scrap the grade 10 external examinations, with the hopes that this will have a positive outcome on the number of candidates who complete their secondary education. With us in studio this evening to discuss the state of our national education is Director of National Examinations for the Ministry of Education, Mr. Cavin Nyambe. Good evening, viewers, and welcome to One Exclusive. Now, if you've been following the news, you will know that the word on everyone's lips is education. With the recently released grade 12 and grade 10 external examination results, with us in studio is Mr. Cavin Nyambe, Director of Examinations for the Ministry of Education. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, ma'am.
I know it's been a very hectic week. Thank you very much for gracing us with your presence.
No, we are ready to assist wherever it's needed. Thank you.
Thank you. Now, Mr. Nyambe, for those of us who have not been reading the papers, can you just give us a brief overview of this year's external examination results?
For the 2016, class of 2016 grade 10 and 12 results, we have a very good performance on the grade 10 full-time, and also the grade 10 part-time did well. And then on the grade 12 full-time, they did well, but we didn't do well on the grade 12 part-time students. But we may say for all full-time grade 10, part-time grade 10, full-time grade 10, higher level grade 10, they did quite well on higher grades this year. And then we are happy about the performance of the 2016 class. And
there are also more candidates that enrolled for higher levels this year. Now tell me, sir, the grade 10 pass mark, I think that there's an increase of about 6% of learners that actually made it. So the ministry is definitely making inroads. And we know that the Oshikoto region is still #1. But which are the regions that are still struggling a little bit?
Regions which are still struggling, more especially on the grade 10 examinations. We have the Karas region, the Hadap region, which are more on 14, 13. And the Omaheke is more on 11. Although Omaheke dropped, they have dropped from 12, 2015 to 11. So these are the regions which are struggling, Omaheke, Karas, and Hadap for grade 10. Then for grade 12, we have Kunene, Oshana, and the Zambezi region. These are the regions at the bottom. While for the grade 12 examinations, Irongo, Chizonjupa, Kavango East are on the top 3. And for grade 10 examination, Oskoto, Oshana, Omsati, they are on the top 3 level.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Now, despite only 50, well, not only, that's quite a significant number, 56% of these learners get to pass on to grade 11. But the minimum pass mark is still 23 points. So I hear that ministry has plans in 2019 to scrap the grade 10 exam, external exam, completely. Now, how do you see this influencing the overall performance of the high school learner?
Let me put it in perspective. The 23 points, we normally don't refer to it as a pass mark. It's a minimum promotion mark to the next grade. When we started in 1993, we started from 18 points, and then we had been moving on to improve the promotional points to 23. Therefore, that's where we are. And then we need to take conscience that we started the promotional point on 18. We started from 37%. At least now we are at 55% of at least about half of the students enrolled. Fantastic. They are moving about, we are now about 50%. And then if we look into the enrollment of the grade 10, there had been an increase. For the past 3 years, if I may use the nearest, is 2014. We were at about 35,000, and then now 2016 we are about 38,000. We have seen an increase in the enrollment, both grade 10 and 12. Our part-time learners, grade 12, are increasing. We moved from 27, 2015 to 30,000 this year. So this is an indication that most students are coming in within the secondary education. Now, when we look into the one you have asked for 2019 grade 10 examinations, we have revised our curriculum. This is the third curriculum review which we have done since independence, where we are now looking at having grade 8 and 9 as junior secondary phase, then 10 and the 11 as a senior secondary phase, and then grade 12 on its own higher level. Now, this is a curriculum review. It's not an issue that we are phasing out to grade 10, but each curriculum review has got its own needs. If I may come in here, you may find that like the South African system, they have grade 8 and 9 as junior, and then 10 and 11 as their national certificate. So this is how now Namibia came into being. Therefore, the last grade 10 examinations will be in 2018. And then the current 2017 grade 8 students who had been admitted in 2017 now, they'll be the first cohort to write the same external grade 9 examinations in 2018. These are the students now who will follow the new revised curricula. So we are not phasing out, but we are looking at the access to secondary education, so that students should not, a number of the students should not live out at the current system we have now, where you may find that we've got about, like this year we had about 55% of them promoted to grade 11, and then about 44 of them are not somewhere else. And then these are the issues where now we have to improve on access. As much as we improve on access, you will have to also to focus on quality, because the more number of students you have in a system, the more problems you need to have harder, and then teachers need to work hard. Because as I'm speaking now, for example, if we take about 38,000 grade 10 students who were already in grade 10 last year, if they were currently grade 8 students, which means 38,000 of them could be in grade 10 and 11, because that cutoff point where we're doing the selection is no more there. But the grade 9 semi-external examinations will be just as a measure of the education quality.
Just to see how they're performing.
To see how they are performing, instead of waiting until they write the final examination is in grade 11.
Definitely.
So as a ministry, we came out with a measure that instead of leaving the teachers doing their teaching until after 4 years, that's when we assess. We said, no. We need to have a monitoring system so that teachers and the learners are exposed to the end of year system examinations before they reach the grade 11. So this is the advantage of the new curriculum which had been implemented this year. Moving on.
Makes so much sense. Thank you. So quickly going to go into an ad break.
Yes.
Viewers, when we get back, a little bit more about our external examination results. According to an international report, the level of education in developing African countries, especially those in sub-Saharan Africa, is 70 years behind that of developed economies such as Asia and Europe. Compounding the matter, we are aware that our country faces a shortage of local engineers and scientists. Many grade 12 learners did not even qualify for a tertiary education in any of these fields, and those who did are mostly from private schools. With us to discuss the future of those grade 12s as well as the future of those who did not pass is Director of National Examinations, Mr. Cavin Nyambe. Viewers, welcome back to One Exclusive. Now, Mr. Nyambe, let's move on a little bit to the grade 12 learners. As far as we can see, only a third of the candidates now qualify for tertiary education. Now, will we see the same as in grade 10 where you can again rewrite your grade 12? Will those children have another chance, you know, to do better in their grade 12 exams? Or are there other places that they can go which might not be, you know, UNAM or NUST?
For the grade 12 students, those who have not qualified, we need not to focus on university entrance. We still have some colleges in Namibia. We have vocational training colleges. We have all other institutions which are offering all educational facility to their students. Therefore, university collar job should not be an issue. We have the course decks where these students can join. And then those who would like to go further, we have a Namibia Open College of Education where they can go. We have various institutions which are registered with the ministry where they can improve their results if they want to go to the universities. And then we should not only focus on the universities within Namibia. South Africa have got technicons where they can take 22, 23 students who have turned those points in order to study further. So there are various careers. NIMUNT in Walvis Bay is one of the institutions where they can go and do on hand jobs to improve their skills. So we should not always focus on UNAM and the University of Science and Technology. So there are various ways in which students who have not met the 25 points, they can go and study further and look into.
So it's not the end of the world if you didn't make university, you can still get those points made up.
It's not the end of the world. They can contact NQA. NQA have got registered institutions which are offering courses in tourism. It's also another field where they can specialize. Various institutions are registered with the Namibia Qualification Authority, where the students can approach, and then some of the institutions, they take even 20, 21, 22 points instead of 25. And then at the end, you find yourself running your own businesses. So we have various trade institutions in the country that can accommodate these students to study. They should not relax. And then the other way that the parents should not focus more on university level. No. There are various rich people in a country who have never went to university, but they use their own skills in order to do other issues rather than from the academic fields. That's why whenever we release the results, we all say academic career is not the only solution. There are still various ways. They can do needlework. They can do whatever they do. There are various institutions that are offering small courses where they can improve themselves and their lives.
But I think I totally agree with you, and I do believe that our government has really invested in these institutions to help these kids who are not making it to university, which is fantastic. But on the other hand, we still do have a shortage of scientists and engineers, and we often, see people importing them from other countries. And I think about a third of the, these students that are going to university, most of them are from private schools, which leads into the next question. Yes, private schools have donor funding. They have more parent support. They often have more access to resources. So is government going to be working more with these private institutions to, bridge that gap between these two candidates, the ones that are doing well in the private schools and those in government who are not quite pulling their weight?
The Namibia Student Fund is focusing on those scarce resources courses to encourage the students to apply and to study for those courses. Then these are some of the issues which we take into account. There are degrees or courses which are more superfluous. We have got enough people that some of them, they are not even employed. Now, the Student Fund is encouraging whenever they apply that these are the areas
where you get full scholarships.
Where you get a full scholarship. Okay. We need more students in this particular area. The Student Fund knows the scarce resources within the Namibian context where they can direct these students. But we have a fear of saying, I cannot do engineering, it's very difficult. That mentality should be erased out from the Namibian students, those who have qualified for university. Take it hard and fight and do whatever you want to do. You'll gain what you want. I think the Student Fund has already started applying by yesterday when the results were released. Then they have a clear indication to which direction, like the top 10 students, in which area should they direct them. Yeah, they need to be channeled. And then also the parental involvement of what your child is going to do after grade 12 is very much critical. You need to discuss with your child while he's in grade 11 and discuss her the options and say, look, BA is always superfluous. This course is always superfluous. Now, if you do science and mathematics, this is the area you should follow. I'm pleased to say that since we made mathematics compulsory in 2012, we are doing quite well in mathematics, which is one of the subjects which is required if you want to go for medicine or any other related courses. And then they did quite well in mathematics. Therefore, they should not fear to go for engineering or BTech or whatsoever. They need to explore those areas where we need more people.
With the private institutions, I do know the minister has reached out and said there should be more cooperation between private educational institutions and government. Do you foresee any plans like that?
Those plans are already in place.
Okay.
Like as the minister has indicated, we always encourage government schools to twin up with private schools that are doing quite well. If I remember correctly, there was a team from the Zambezi region which went to Rukonga Vision School just to come and study. The principals were there. And then there was a team also from either Karas or Hadap region who went to St. Boniface to study what they are doing. So these are the twinning. We are always encouraging that learn from the next person who is doing quite well and they improve on what you have. That's why always we say if we work as a team between private and the government schools, definitely will improve the education sector. That's our real focus, that learn from another person in order to do more than what you are doing. So we are looking forward for government schools to work hand in hand with private schools, and the private schools also to work hand in hand with government schools. That's why when we started last year, we said, okay, let's not group government and private schools when we do the ranking or the league table.
Yes.
Let's separate them. Yeah. So that government schools,
fair.
so that government schools can know that these are the private schools which are doing quite well. So can I go there for a week and learn from what they are doing in order to bring that knowledge back to my school? So those plans are already in system, and then they need to learn from each other.
And I think it's also beautiful separating the rankings, because there are government schools that are doing remarkably
Definitely.
well. And if you compare them to private schools, it's almost unfair, you know. So that is fantastic. Now, Mr. Nyambe, just to close up a little bit, let's talk about this year. What are the plans from the ministry's side this year? Government has been tightening its coffers, so there's not a lot of money floating around. Are there any big projects we're looking for?
As I'm speaking now, the ministry staff are busy discussing the budget. We are not the only Ministry of Education which is affected during the 2017-18 budget. Whatever we will receive from the state coffers, we will prioritize the critical areas where we can divert that money and ensure that we cater for those areas that are very, very much critical. It's not only the Minister of Education in this dilemma for the 2017-18 budget. So already, whatever the little we'll get from the Minister of Finance, we will sit down and see which other capital projects do we need to prioritize, and then which areas of the education sector should we use these funds for, so that come the end of the 2017-18 financial year, we say, okay, the little we had, there's evidence how we have utilized it.
Definitely.
Definitely.
Definitely. Now, Mr. Nyambe, just to close off, one last word. If you have any advice for both teachers and learners going into this year, what would it be?
Normally, they say to plan earlier is better than to plan late. We need not to focus only when the results are released. That's when we say the education sector is not performing or performing. We need to start implementing all the plans from the 11th of January when the schools reopened, so that we move on. We should not relax. Parents and the teachers, most especially the parents, the commitment they have shown from the 11th of January, running around registering their children, they shouldn't give up and say, my child had been registered, now it's up to the teacher. No, we need each other. You see, education is like a body. When the eye is not doing well, the body will not do anything. When the leg feels pain, it will not do anything. Which means the teachers, the learners, the parents, and we staff at head office, we are part of the education sector, which is the whole body in itself. It's definitely when they say, you may have 100 animals, but when one is lost, you remain with 99. You don't sleep. If one of the stakeholders within the education sector is not pulling well, everything will go down. So definitely, as the minister has indicated, from the parents, as we normally say, charity begins at home. To where we will end releasing the results, we need to work as a team. Let's not panic when we release the results of grade 10 and 12. We have other internal assessments, grade 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. For example, we would like the schools to use our standardized achievement tests, which we offer in grade 5 and 7. We always produce those reports to indicate the basic competences of which the students can do and which they cannot do, which means that's an area diagnostic test from grade 5 and 7.
You can early establish where your shortfalls
area
are.
establishment, where now an indication, they always give us an indication that these are the areas of which a grade 5 and the grade 7 learner is not able to do, which means the grade 4 learner downwards and the grade 8 to 12 learner, already he knows that these students who were in grade 7, who are in grade 8, they cannot do A, B, C, D. Now I need to focus to improve on that. So these are the systematic plans which we have in place. Early diagnostic, and then we move on. The foundation needs to be strong before we put on the roof, so that the roof cannot fall. Now we are always focusing on the roof, which is grade 10 and 12, that the house is raining or there are cracks. Did we check the foundation grade 1, 2, 3, our primary? Did we ensure that
early childhood development?
Early childhood development. Did we make a strong grade 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 before they reach grade 10? If that foundation is strong, and then we do some strata studies, we will not complain about the grade 10 and 12 performance.
And I think my colleague the other day pointed on something. I was like, why are the private schools doing so incredibly well? It can't just be the teachers and the money. And then they said, but because the parents also, if you are able or willing to put so much money into your child's education, you will make sure they do well in school. So it's that idea of the parents should also really get involved, find out by the teachers, get the test from the ministry, see if your child is up to standard.
You are correct, 100% correct. As parents, whenever your child comes from school, you need to ask, is there any homework that was given to you? If there was any homework that was given to you, check that homework, assist the child, sign on it. If you find that the child is not doing well, make an appointment with the subject teacher. Go to the school. They say, Madam, my child is not doing well in mathematics. What are the areas of concern? The teacher will say, well, your child cannot multiply. Your child cannot do addition. The child cannot define. Your child cannot do this. And then if you are not a teacher by yourself, go to a colleague who is a teacher and ask and say, if you are good in mathematics, come and sit down with my child every evening. But we may find some parents who say, after work, I'm so tired. Even if your child says, Ma'am, Dad, I've got a homework, I can't multiply this, I can't do this. We'll do it later, we'll do it later. By the time you finish doing dinner, the child is tired.
10. Yeah.
You see, the child is already in grade 10 with all those failures. So area diagnostic, area interventions is much better. Let's move with our children. If you cannot help as a parent, your neighbor is there, he can assist. Yeah, let's work as a team and encourage our...
Yeah, and let's raise our next generation of leaders together. Thank you, Mr. Nyambe, so much for your time.
Welcome.
And I hope you the best for the future.
And you too for 2017 and 2018.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Viewers, that's all from us tonight. Be sure to SMS your comments to 555. Know that SMSs are charged at $1 Namibian. Good night.